feet tall. You never saw been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.
So today let's talk about a couple of things you may or may not know about the Dukes of Hazzard Charger. So let's get started with fact number 1. Now, if you're a fan of the show, it's pretty obvious that the star of the show wasn't flesh and blood. It was honestly the 69 Charger. So it may not come as much of a surprise that the Charger itself got close to 35,000 fan letters between 1979 and 1985. Oh, I read that wrong. It was 35,000 letters per month. Fact number 2. Now, if you're a regular to watching the show, you definitely noticed that the General Lee often pulled off some pretty amazing turns out in the dirt in order to evade pursuers. And have you ever noticed that when you take your classic car out to the old dirt roads, you can never really get that good sideways drifting turn that they did in the show, no matter how much you really kind of try to do it? Well, that's because the car that they used in the show actually had a specialized braking system which allowed the driver to decide which wheels he wanted to lock up to control that turn. That's right, back in 1979, they were essentially using the exact same thing that professional drifters use today to pull off their drifting stunts. Fact number 3. Now, the Dukes of Hazzard ran from 1979 to 1985, and in that time, they went through approximately 300 different Chargers and Charger lookalikes, meaning that not all of the cars that they wrecked were actual Chargers. And during the show, generally, most of the cars that they used could only be used for about one episode before they were so damaged they couldn't actually be used any further. Those cars that could be actually salvaged were generally salvaged from a mix of old cars from past episodes. Fact number 4. So even though the show went through roughly about 300 cars over the course of the many seasons it was on the air, only one original Dodge Charger RT actually made it through all the seasons unscathed, and still exists today. Now, that's not to say that people didn't actually go and find many of the junked cars that were actually damaged during production. They did, and they found them, and many of them have actually been restored. But this particular car was only used for things like the burnout scenes and scenes that involved chases and things where the car relatively managed to go through the entire production unscathed.